What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. And again, I want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. Let me know what you did down below in the comments. What did you do for Thanksgiving? We went over to Laurel's parents' house yesterday with baby Julian. And today, my parents are coming over and my brother to celebrate Thanksgiving. So, yes, we are celebrating with family, but no, we don't have more than just a few people coming over. So hopefully we'll be safe. Let me know what you did down below in the comments. I would love to read through them. In this video, we're going to hear from President Donald Trump. We're going to hear new information about the stimulus check and the second stimulus package. We're going to also hear another state that is passing stimulus to their residents right now. Remember, every single day I'm bringing you these new stimulus packages that are being passed by states and local cities. While we're waiting on Congress to pass the large stimulus check, I've already had, I don't know, hundreds of people tell me that they got thousands of dollars in stimulus from me telling them about these state and local programs. And I'm going to bring you a new one every single video. I have videos coming out at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you subscribe down below with the bell icon so you get notifications and you don't miss out on new videos. And don't forget to like this video. It really helps out our channel. And yesterday I put out a special video about how the Biden administration wants to pass stimulus and also raise taxes. The thumbnail looks like this. So make sure you watch that video. I will link you that video at the end of this video if you haven't seen it yet. Okay, first up, President Donald Trump actually started to take some questions from reporters. And of course, one of the biggest questions they've been dying to ask him is, will you leave the White House if the Electoral College does decide that Biden is the official and a final winner? And let's hear what he had to say.
If the Electoral College does elect President-elect Joe Biden, are you not going to leave this building?
Just so you, certainly I will. Certainly I will. And you know that. But
just for reference, the reporter's really hard to hear in the background. She said, are you going to leave the building, leave the White House, if Joe Biden is declared the official winner by the Electoral College?
If the Electoral College does elect President-elect Joe Biden, are you not going to leave this building?
Just so you, certainly I will. Certainly I will. And you know that. But I think that there will be a lot of things happening between now and the 20th of January. A lot of things. It's going to be a very hard thing to concede because we know there was massive fraud. So as to whether or not I can get this apparatus moving this quickly, because time isn't on our side. Everything else is on our side. Facts are on our side. This was a massive fraud. This should never take place in this country. We're like a third world country. We have machines that nobody knows what the hell they're looking at. I mean, you take a look at all the mistakes they made. Look at even Georgia. Look at all the mistakes they made. And all that was is a simple, you press a button.
Also, President Trump says that there were hundreds of thousands of fraudulent votes that have newly been found.
They don't want to show us signatures. The reason they don't want to show us signatures is very simple, because we will find thousands and thousands. It's a very close race. It's hair thin. But we'll find thousands and thousands of discrepancies, fraud. Why they aren't wanting to show those signatures is amazing. They're doing recounts, and even in the recount, they found thousands of votes that were off. But now we want to look at the signatures, and you will find tens of thousands of false ballots, forged ballots. You'll see it all over. You're going to see a lot of it. And you go to Pennsylvania. You saw the meeting we had yesterday with Pennsylvania. You saw people come up, they went to vote, and they said, no, you can't vote. Somebody else already sent in a ballot, and a woman. But this is happening tens of thousands of times. I think it was 600 and some odd thousand, 687,000 fraudulent votes cast in Pennsylvania. And I will tell you, if you look at the State House now, the Republican State House, they're starting to see what's going on there. But they've really known it for a long time. Then you go to Michigan, and you look at what happened in Wayne County in Detroit. I went through a list. I won almost every county, and you see it, almost every, by 78%, 72%, 68%, going through the list. Then you get to Wayne, and something happened. Tremendous numbers. You saw the canvassers. They refused to sign their their document because they said we can't sign a fraudulent document. Horrible things went on. That's in Wayne County, Detroit. But you look at the votes that were just tabulated and they were left today. Look at all the counties. I won almost all of them, except Detroit was so egregious. It was phony. Look at what's going on in Wisconsin. Wisconsin, they're finding tremendous discrepancy.
So President Donald Trump says that there is tens of thousands of fraud cases and ballots going on in multiple different states. He says there's 687,000 fraudulent ballots in Pennsylvania alone. And even if a fraction of that were true, and I'm not saying it is true or isn't true, but even if a fraction of that is found to be true, that would be enough for Trump to win that state. Remember, almost all these swing states, President Donald Trump lost by a slim margin. So the real problem is going to be, can he prove that tens of thousands of ballots are fraudulent, and can he prove it enough that it actually gets overturned? We're going to see here in the next 30 to 60 days. Regarding stimulus, Republican Congressman Tom Reed, who is also one of the leaders of the Problem Solvers bills, says the Problem Solvers caucus says that the Republicans are working on a stimulus package right now at reportedly up to $1 trillion. The real question is, are they willing to spend this additional $800 billion that they found from all these previous Paycheck Protection Program and this money that the Fed had, that Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin moved back to the Treasury? And in total, there's about $800 billion, possibly even more. Honestly, between all the different buckets of money, it's kind of hard to keep straight because honestly, the U.S. government doesn't really tell you all this money that's sitting around all the time. They tell you, oh, by the way, we just found $500 billion that hasn't been spent from the first stimulus package. Oh, by the way, we found another $135 billion from the Paycheck Protection Program. They just keep finding these billions and billions of dollars that they need to just spend on stimulus. We talked about in one of the past videos in the last day or two, I think I actually published it yesterday morning. The thumbnail looks like this. It says Presidential Executive Order Stimulus Checks. And we talked about whether or not President Donald Trump can spend, or even Joe Biden, let's just say either president, can spend this $800 billion that has already been approved by Congress. Can they use this money with just a presidential executive order to just redirect the money for, say, stimulus checks and unemployment checks, like President Donald Trump did with his previous executive order, where he redirected that money and gave it to the unemployed during this pandemic to help out Americans? Can either president use this money because it's already been approved by Congress? And honestly, I can't give you a straight answer because there's it's not a clear-cut decision. It's one of those gray areas. Honestly, the previous executive order that President Trump passed for that unemployment extension money, that was a gray area too, and the Democrats said he couldn't do it, and then he did it anyways, and they didn't challenge it, so it's stuck. So the question is, can President Trump or Biden pass this $800 billion without congressional approval because it's already been approved once? Or will they add it to the reported $1 trillion stimulus package that the Republicans are working on to possibly have a package worth $1.8 trillion? Now, Republican Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has been going through a lot of criticism lately, and here's the newest.
There's real problems in this country. In the state of Kentucky, in his own state, Mitch McConnell's state, a third of Kentuckians are now struggling to meet their basic needs like food, heat, and rent as the holidays approach, according to the Kentucky Center for Economic Policy. Kentucky has had 162,838 cases of COVID. He is completely absent. He sent y'all home for Thanksgiving break. And we're going to put back up on, we've been putting it on almost every night, the things that are just expiring. Emergency unemployment relief, eviction moratorium, the 2020 rebate checks that people got, student loan forbearance, meaning people are going to have to start paying, the payroll tax deferral. You can go on and on and on, the paid sick leave tax credit. All that stuff is about to expire at the end of the year. And
let me bring myself up here on the camera for this. If all these things expire before the end of the year. Some experts are calling this a perfect storm that will send us into another depression. And pretty much the vast majority of these things need to be passed again with another stimulus package. And that's why both the Republicans and the Democrats have said that they need to pass a stimulus package now before the end of the year, not only just to get money in the hands of people, get an unemployment extension out and get mortgage and rental assistance out, but all these other things here, all these unemployment programs that are ending, the eviction moratorium that's ending, even though we're nowhere close to coming out of this pandemic. And in fact, we're actually seeing more closures and second shutdowns and record high cases of 180,000 to 200,000 positive cases every day. We're just getting into the thick of this thing with the winter until the vaccine comes out. But the vaccine is going to take months and months and months for people to come out. So a lot of this stuff needs to be extended or passed with another stimulus package.
Mitch McConnell doesn't seem to give a damn. Do you see any signs that any of his caucus care any more than he does?
Yeah, I mean, let me just underscore that level of desperation. I literally just came from Hamden, Connecticut, from a food distribution event for the holiday weekend. And the organizers were panicking a little bit because they had enough food for 300 people. And they had what looked like about 300 cars lined up prior to the beginning of the event, and they were scrambling to figure out what they were going to say to all of these families who were now faced with perhaps going hungry over the holiday weekend. People are at the end of their rope, and you are right, Mitch McConnell is refusing to do anything. What we need for Mitch McConnell to do is just enter the negotiating room. He has refused to negotiate with anybody, with Nancy Pelosi, with Chuck Schumer, again, because he's afraid of splitting his caucus. Right now, about half of the Republicans want to do nothing. They think that this should just be all up to the states, or that Joe Biden should be saddled with the entirety of the problem. And so Mitch McConnell is sort of putting the unity of his caucus ahead of the survival of the nation, because there are 20 Republicans that would vote with 47 Democrats in order to pass a pretty substantial coronavirus relief bill. But he doesn't want to split up the Republicans again, heading into Georgia, heading into the new Congress. And, that's kind of par for the course for Mitch McConnell, unfortunately.
And honestly, I can't side with Mitch McConnell. As you guys know, a lot of this people have been blaming Nancy Pelosi, myself included. I blamed Mitch McConnell a lot over the summer when the HEROES Act, he just tabled it and didn't vote on it. And honestly, I can't side with, and again, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I think that half of these Republicans in the Senate that don't want to vote on any stimulus package, I have no idea what they are thinking. What on earth are they thinking? I mean, we're in a once in 100-year pandemic. Cases are at an all-time high. States and cities are closing down, and we're having 200,000 cases per day, and these Republicans don't want to pass stimulus. Like, who voted for these people? Who voted for these people? And again, Nancy Pelosi's the same way. It's just like, it's not that hard to figure out that they need to come to a compromise in the middle to pass a stimulus package. How hard is it to do that? Thank God we have these states and cities that are passing stimulus now and using this money from the previous stimulus packages, because without that, we'd really be in trouble. So thank God for these states and cities that are passing stimulus. Let me show you a new one right now. I got two of them here for you, actually. Number one is Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania is drafting a stimulus relief program right now for their residents. As you can see here, the Emergency Rent and Mortgage Utility Assistance Program would have income guidelines and requirements. The maximum allocation would be $1,200 for 6 months. So that is a monthly check of $1,200 for Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And again, this has not quite been passed yet. They're working on this, but a lot of these ones that they've been working on, the states are passing. In addition to what I'm going to show you right again, so $1,200 for 6 months, how amazing is that? That's what Congress needs to approve, not just these states and cities. So Congress needs to do $1,200 for 6 months. Give me an amen if you believe in that. So Again, now again, that's Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, $1,200 6 months, amazing. Monthly checks, yes, amazing. New Mexico did just pass their stimulus package that I mentioned to you guys a couple days that they were voting on. And again, that's what Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and all these other states, a lot of them have programs coming out right now. New Mexico did just pass their stimulus program for $330 million. New Mexico will deliver a one-time $1,200 check to all unemployed workers and up to $50,000 for certain businesses. So again, that is for New Mexico, a $1,200 check for unemployed workers, up to $50,000 for new businesses, and monthly stimulus checks to Pennsylvania. If they can pass that, it'll be interesting to see if they can. I will be bringing you updates about all these states and cities that are passing stimulus in their states and cities every single video. So make sure to subscribe and share this video. Click the share button down below so that others like you will know about these programs and not miss out on this free money coming from states and cities. You can click on this top video to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this bottom video is about how the Biden administration wants to raise taxes. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.